Can I just say the new Dangers in My Heart episode, season 2, episode 1, or episode 13 as a whole, that is the good stuff. That's the type of episode that makes you so glad to be back in the driver's seat to say, you know what? This is why this was a special show. I just recently watched all of season 1. I also watched that new OVA that released about a week ago, and I am hooked on this show. So walking in, everything's fresh in my mind. I know exactly the highs, the lows, and there really isn't a lot of lows to the show, but you know, there's certain episodes, certain points in episodes that are weaker than others. And I walk in and out of episode 13, I'm saying this is as consistent as season 1. There's a couple of moments that are actually better animated than anything I saw in season 1. The new OP, the ED, fantastic, but it hits every single vibe, and I mean that. Comedy, silliness, wholesomeness, drama, progression, everything that you loved about what season 1 delivered is in this episode, and it's also doing something new. And I love the fact that this show doesn't rush past things. There's so many times I see in these like school series or these romance series, whatever it is, slice of life, character breaks their arm, or there's like this big moment that happens to said character and we just get a time skip and it's like, oh, it's been a month, so that thing's no longer an issue. I just recently came off of season 1. Him having his arm broke and like the keychain and like her putting the keychain over his neck, that's all fresh in my mind. But for a lot of people, it might be easy to forget about that, but it's honestly really important to point out the fact that this just flows naturally. This is an anime team that is properly adapting and flowing things nicely and not just rushing into the next crazy thing. It feels like if you were to probably watch both seasons 1 and 2 of The Dangers in My Heart, people are probably going to think it's all one season because of that's how consistent everything looks. It reminds me of the consistency of Spy Family between seasons 1 and 2. Fantastic stuff, and I am dying to see where they're going to take it from here. Full live reaction to this wonderful episode over on my Patreon. If you would like to see my full uncut thoughts, they're over there if you're interested. Now, this episode surprised me with how perfect it was. Like, I can't believe they just did that. I can't believe they made the perfect episode as their debut episode for the return of Dangers in My Heart. Let's look at just the consistency and the fact that they keep things important. So the idea of the keychain, very big, but most importantly, she puts it around our boy's neck at the end of season 1. And almost pretty much immediately at the start of season 2, that gets mentioned. Like, he's pretty embarrassed about it in the moment, but he ends up accepting it because, well, if Yamada wants it, he wants to make her happy. And of course, it kind of becomes like, damn it, I knew people wouldn't like this is why I didn't want to wear it like this. But the biggest thing, for me anyway, is the fact that his arm's still broken. And you could say, well, of course, in the manga, it just flows naturally. It doesn't matter. There's so many anime that just skip ahead or they just don't keep things consistent. He broke his arm. It should be in a cast for a while, and I like that they're actually keeping the main character. And honestly, I see mangas just not care. They're like, oh yeah, he broke it over a winter vacation, let's do a 2-week time skip. Now he's writing normally. We don't want to show that. No, let the character struggle, especially because then he can get help from Yamada, have all this cute moment, but we can also see how it can cause drama. Fantastic stuff. But the biggest surprise was how they handled the drama after getting so much progression, so much character development between these two little lovebirds. The fact that they actually allowed the same level of drama to pop up that we saw in season 1, but have it be resolved in a much faster and healthier way because now they have that progression. They are very close friends. He very much has a crush on her and she very much has a crush on him. And the idea that when she overhears him talking to the teacher about how, because the teacher's trying to hook him up, saying, listen, hey, who are you closest with? Yamada. So have her help you because obviously writing with your other hand when you're not this, left-handed or whatever is going to be very difficult. She overhears him saying that we're not really that close, blah, blah, blah. And she's visibly hurt. And I love the fact that rather going the route of what a lot of mangakas or authors, or even if it's an anime original, like these stories would do, she's salty. And she was. She was visibly upset and she had every right to be, but I love the fact that she wasn't an idiot. She realized, like, okay, I know this boy. He's very much embarrassed about public affection and stuff like that. He has self-confidence issues. She understands, but she ain't happy with that. So she's waiting for him to pretty much like man up and apologize, more or less. So when he comes to her at the end of the day, after he immediately realizes like, bro, we were getting along so well, we were progressing, I ruined Christmas, he pretty much immediately apologizes, says, listen, I made a big mistake, and she's immediately by his shoulder saying, I know. I know you don't hate me, but it's good to know you own your mistakes and we can move on past this silly situation. Fantastic. I mean, near the end of season 1, they have this like very nice embrace scene where basically he ends up hugging her and she hugs him because she's pretty much crying, freaking out, and he makes her feel a lot better. I love the fact that we had a moment that, had this happened earlier in season 1, would have resulted in a lot more drama, but because of the progression that they had by the end of season 1, they don't end in the same situation, and something that could easily be an episode or two's worth of drama in so many different studios or authors' hands becomes something where it's like she's visibly upset for the afternoon, as anyone would be. But like any couple, whether it's a husband and wife, a boyfriend, girlfriend, doesn't matter. Like, you can have a little scoff, you can have a little bickering, but you come back together. It doesn't take you 2 damn weeks unless you just aren't compatible, which clearly these two are, and it's fantastic. Then you even add in more. Everything I just said is enough to make the episode good. I'm like, listen, I'm full. The all-you-eat buffet, I am full. Stop. Here's another plate. Let me grab my fork. I'm gonna eat more. The Hara stuff and the other friend hooking our boy up, whether it was Hara just noticed, she's like, I see something here. And after Yamada very much clearly gives her the go-ahead, she's like, oh, I see these two like each other. Hooking up with the keychain, everything about that just so adorable. Or when he's on his walk home, he's trying to uncover the snow, she pops up like, hey, she takes that straight, takes a little picture. Just, I love the wing woman stuff. I love it when a group of friends isn't toxic towards that extra love interest, like, oh, is love interest good enough for my homie or my girly? Like, no, it's like they're hooking our boy up and supporting him, and you just love to see that. And I mean, not to mention the production, like, it's pretty consistent with season 1, but there's some moments that are even more expressive than season 1. Like, Yamada's just little skip, hop, and a jump, which he's excited to show the magazine to our boy. Or most importantly, when they're like doing their cooking, she's on a chair and she scoots over with the chair. Those little animation and the attention to detail, she feels like a living and breathing young girl in a school environment. And I can't express this enough of just how expressive the character animation is and how alive it makes any scene feel. And then you even cherry on top. I'm telling you, I'm full. I don't need any more dangers in my heart. They said, hey, how about you come upstairs? And she's already been to his home. So now it's time for him to go into her home, and I'm like, oh, are we gonna meet her family now? It's just, I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier. I'm kicking myself for not talking about season 1 when it was weekly. We ain't making the same mistake with season 2. You will be getting weekly videos on YouTube unless this somehow crashes and burns, which I expect this one not to do as well just because it's a day late for everything, and I apologize. I was busy yesterday, but we will be hustling this one because I think even if it did poorly enough, I love the show too much to not talk about it a little bit. So let me know what you're feeling though down below of this wonderful episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell so you can get notified when I upload more of the channel. And like I mentioned, we have a full live reaction over on my Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, you also get video shout out. So today we have Kovacs Adam, Ishta, Mav, Curso, Joshua Sher Martin, and Jarl Balgriff. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.